Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is David Novak. Today I'm going to read a poem from my book Against Fascism, which is a book against fascism. This is one of the earliest written poems from the book from March 3rd, titled Death of a Young Girl. Heavenly God, the dam does break. Tears flow as from a broken dike, as we from a bad dream awake to a worse nightmare. Voices quake, speaking her name, which on us holds its claim. Emily Pike. Suddenly fell catastrophe, as from dark heaven the lightnings strike, leaving the sight for all to see, illumined hell's brief brilliancy, crashing her name, which on us holds its claim. Emily Pike. She strode alone into the dark, girl unprotected, but a tyke. For predators an easy mark, so one extinguished her life's spark, heedless her name, which on us holds its claim. Emily Pike. We, in this wicked world bereft, may never reinstate her like. Girl's giddy gladness merely left in memories as devoid of heft, cling to her name, which on us holds its claim. Emily Pike. Lord God, alone amidst the storm, each one in conscience feels the spike which calls for justice. We perform ablutions grievously the norm, weeping her name, which on us holds its claim. Emily Pike. Emily Pike was a young Native American girl who was murdered in a cruel manner. She is recently in the news because some body cam footage of her has been released to the public, not directly related to the case. But I've been thinking about her for a different reason. There is I guess, celebrity, you would say. I'm not really sure what she is. A woman named Ann Coulter. And I have no idea who she is or what she does. All I know is whenever there is anything despicable and reprehensible occurring, she seems to be there as a hanger-on. And so she has done. She recently made a Twitter post. Twitter is now known as X, and I thought I would read to you a piece from the Minnesota Star Tribune by Anton Treuer. I hope I pronounced that name correctly. Whoops. A response to Ann Coulter and her pro-genocide social media post. We are living at a time in Donald Trump's America, in the United States of America, where indigenous people are rounded up by ICE routinely, where plans have been floated to make indigenous people, indigenous Americans, Mexican Americans, persons of dark skin color into a slave labor workforce, sort of on library loan from the various concentration camps which are now being built. The most recent, Alligator Auschwitz in Florida. So this country is regressing in a bad way, and people need to be speaking about it. So I thought I would read this piece. Free speech does not absolve Ann Coulter and her employers from inciting hatred. Earlier this week, the conservative pundit posted on X, "We didn't kill enough Indians," in response to a speech by Melanie Yazzie, a native artist and professor, about decolonization. Her remarks have offended and inflamed Indian country in a chilling reminder that the haters still hate and some public figures in America are still pro-genocide. I have to respond for myself, my kids, grandkids, and generations of relatives past who were silenced by violence and policy. Coulter's post, which has since been deleted, was not a gaffe. She's a shock jockey who knew she'd get over 1 million likes and shares the first day she posted this. It's a shameless endorsement of the darkest chapters of American history. From massacres of Pequots in the early colonial era to Wounded Knee in 1890, from forced relocation on numerous trails of tears to the children buried at residential schools for the education of Native youth, to the current crisis in missing and murdered Indigenous people. Genocide is not ancient history, but the foundational practice of American nation making. Excuse me. We must do better, and we must move forward. Coulter wants to bring us back. Her words embolden hate and ignorance. They hurt Native survivors of violence and their families. They fuel stereotypes and justify ongoing injustice, including attacks on tribal sovereignty, land, and lives. When public figures normalize this, they give license to the world to devalue Native lives. I recommend action for the organizations that employ, contract, and provide amplification to Coulter. They should sever all ties and deny all opportunities. For the rest of us, we should boycott any venue that won't. Coulter won't understand or respond to decency. She needs accountability. We need education about both Native history and solutions to help us build bridges and forge a better union. And we need solidarity. It feels lonely taking shameless abuse like this from a public figure. So let the Natives in your life know that you support them in word and action. We have to hold one another up. As the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." And so we find in America today, with this cruel regime, the Donald Trump cabal, we need to show our light. Do not hide your light under a bushel. I grew up with almost no education about the history of this country, and it has been a slow and long process trying to amend that. The Native American situation is scarcely touched upon. There is one big poem which makes mention of I had a awe word to rhyme, and given the context, the word squaw came into the poem, which is flagged by many as a derogatory term, and when you think about it, you say, well, why did you need to have this extra term, squaw? Why not just say a woman? Indeed. So, as we move forward, we must be mindful of our past, and we must exercise our free speech to speak out when the opportunity avails us. As that writer did, he wants his descendants to understand where he stood. And I think it should be incumbent upon all of us that value our families, our children, and some people who value their forebears, perhaps, to make your position known, make our position known whenever something of this sort crops up. If you are interested in pursuing a copy of this book, it is only available from lulu.com, and I will put a link in the description box. Thank you for stopping by my channel.